the soundtrack to the podcast. This recording is to give a clear understanding. Hard work, dedication, and a lot of planning took us to the next level, coldest on the planet. We stayed focused, we stayed persistent. When asked did it come to pass, tell them yes they did it. There are those who talk it, and those of us who live it. With a big pair of scissors, watch me cut the robot.
My father, I'll tell you this before we go. My father had a best friend. They were friends probably. So, you know, my father's older, may he rest. My father, they probably was friends, I'd just say 45 years, because they were in the war together. And when I was a child, I remember him taking me over there he had this elaborate, illustrious volcanoes that erupted and all these things going on. And welcome back. You know, this is our favorite time of the day. We are always happy. We are always smiling. Here we are back. Let us become sharper / Thursday Night Society podcast. We going straight in. We want to have everybody just introduce themselves briefly. My name is CJ. Let us become sharper. To the left of me is the beautiful
Shay Wills.
Ooh, yes, sir.
SHAYWILLZ.com.
There she go. All right. And Nina, you gonna tell them?
Yes, I am Nina. You can catch me on all my social sites at Nina Raines, NENAHRAINES.
Absolutely. And to the front of me is
The wonderful Delana.
The wonderful Delana. She's also she's a special person in my life, and she's a key element to the podcast, to the panel. So we wanna just set up with the topic that we did. Delana actually didn't get the memo, so we're gonna give the topic now. I got a few things to say to you, but before I say those few things to you, we'll give the topic. So last podcast that we did is one of the most energetic and exciting podcasts and informative podcast that we did. I want to make sure that you check that out. And the title and topic, the title is Platonic Friends, and the topic is, if you people of the opposite sex maintain a platonic friendship. Now, of course, we know that the word is platonic, but I like to say plutonic.
You like the ruffle feathers.
I like the ruffle feathers. I like the ruffle feathers. A couple people got on me like, it's not pronounced plutonic. I said, I know it's not pronounced plutonic, but it's no different than General Tso chicken. Everybody knows it's pronounced General. I know that it's pronounced General So. I know that. But I like to say General Tso. And I say it in the restaurant. Hey, man, let me get some order that General Tso chicken. And every time I say it, people just cringe. They be like, General Tso chicken. Yeah, that's the one I want. I don't want
That is how it's spelled, though.
I don't want General So.
I
don't want General So. I want General Tso chicken.
Like,
so,
we know he ain't from around.
They judge me just based off my broken vernacular. But
I hate when they use a silent.
Never put no. One thing about me, you never put no money up that I don't know how to pronounce the word. I know it's General So chicken. I know that it's pronounced Django, but I like to say cut on the Django.
Me too. I do.
That's how I roll. So maybe that's me. But platonic friends, however you want to cut it. We had some very, very mixed opinions about platonic friends. Everybody got on me because they didn't like my behavior, for one. They didn't like my behavior. They didn't like my opinion either about platonic friends. But I don't care. I don't care about what y'all think about me. I'm here to become sharper. That's what we all come here for. But just let me set the record straight. The professional side of us that always gets a blur line. We're all platonic friends here.
That's right.
I know I bit Shay last time. I know I was biting at her. I know I bite from time to time. Don't worry about none of that. We're platonic friends. We're professionals. We, as Shay Wills will say, we boss friends. We boss friends, right. and we always gonna be that. We always been that. We always gonna be that. So now, platonic friends. But now we're coming into a new topic. Since we stand on friendship, we want to come right in with a continuation of friendship. When somebody is a friend, when someone is a friend, and somehow, some way they become a foe, can they ever be a friend again? That was the topic that I thought that I would just put that one right next to platonic friends, and then we'll just skip right over, since we've been doing so well, because we growing with this podcast, so we having more fun than we ever had. When we first started having a podcast, it would work.
Right.
But now we know what we're doing. I mean, look at us now. I mean, I mean, Nita even brought the selfie stick. Standing up the steps doing the selfie stick, dancing now. Yeah, we got some understanding out there on the steps. You know, I had to bite her again. How much biting do it take for you to get in line? You know? So we want to go through something right now before we get to that topic sink in with Delana. I'll say this. So, you know, I give doses at the beginning of the podcast. Let us become sharper. You know, we on the crusade for respect. I give doses of that player talk, that player culture. And I want to come in the beginning of the show to just give a dose, the daily dose or the weekly dose, however we do it. I give doses. You know, I got the key to the player world. I cut the divide the world in half squares, half players. Now, here we have people who are good. You know, everybody's familiar with people that are good. And here we have people, some are great. Delana's wonderful. You know, I admire Nina. I'm so proud of Shay. Like I stated on the steps. This ain't no capping around. I'm telling you what it is. But are you ready? It's all right to be good. And you can be as great as you want to be. But of the three, the only one that matters is ready. Are you ready to roll? I've seen experts. I've seen masters. I've seen professionals. I've seen the ones who you're bragging about these people and they take a great tumble because they were not ready. When it comes to my world, and the reason why I'm bringing the player culture to this podcast is because I feel that is warranted. Second of all, I understand that there is a disconnect between the two cultures. There's a disconnect between people who feel that they lay down a quote unquote standard and they try to say, this is the standard. And if you don't touch this standard, then you're coming up short. You're slipping on your pimping. No, there's a whole other culture that I had to survive personally. And I speak for a whole world of people who had to make it reading between the lines. So when we're talking about thus becoming sharper, we have to bring in this type of logic to make sure that we have balance. So I come in with the player talk and the player culture and define players and squares and define a lame and now speak about those who are good, great, but not ready. See, the brokest looking guy in the room is the one sometimes that's ready. And then you got the richest guy in the room and you think he ain't ready and he the one that knocked the guy out. So it all boils down to, are you ready? DTE just want to know, are you ready?
Stay ready. So you
all they want to know is, are you ready? Huh? Consumers Energy, all they really want to know is, are you ready? That's all they checking for. So we're held to that standard. So what difference did it make if I went the scholastic route, if I went the street route, if I went the player route, if I went the square route? What does it matter? As long as I was ready. I'm ready for my queens today, my platonic friends, to become sharper, enlighten me on an open forum on if you have a friend, okay, that somehow becomes a foe, can they ever be a friend again? Now that topic is that we're gonna set it off. We're gonna let Delana start because I know she the one sitting there thinking it. I like the bun. The hairs is beautiful today. So we're gonna let her set it off. Before we get to that, I want to let y'all know that, you know, prosperity and power, I gotta put that out there because that's an ancient game from an ancient day, from an ancient time. We own ownership. The well-oiled machine and the grind. We consider to be top master players. Thursday night society starts 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. The raffle, TNS raffle exchange. So I put these things out there because this is part of the culture that I represent. This is my dose that I give to the show. Delana, the forum is open. We want to know if you have a friend that becomes a foe, can you ever be friends again? Let the ladies of Let Us Become Sharper take it. Let the world know.
So if you become a foe, you've had to do something to me that is unforgivable. Because I have friends who I'm no longer friends with, but they're not necessarily foes. They're just associates or people I know now. If you become a foe,
I'm talking about foes.
Enemy
there's
tiny.
nothing there. There's no way to come back from that.
No.
There's no coming back from that.
Ooh.
There's no coming back from that. You could be friend, family, whatever. There is no coming back from that.
Once you go to
because you didn't did something to me that's unforgivable. That literally is unforgivable.
So what you're saying is you got a good heart from the beginning, and if you end up in that category, you had to do something that was just totally horrible.
Yes, you had to.
And there's no coming back from that.
None.
Okay.
Well, there is none.
I kind of agree a little bit. It's situational for me.
Okay, so let's hear about the situation. So before you get into that, I want to say this. So I was talking to one of my brothers literally before I come here. We were standing right in the street, and we was talking about. He's like, "What's the topic tonight?" I said, "Well, I want to, since we already did platonic friends, I want to touch on friend or foe. We'll name this one friend or foe. I want to touch on friend or foe." And he was saying some very, very enlightening things about friendship that turn, because especially with us men, we done had some friends that turn into foes. Right. It don't be like, okay, we just gonna go. No, it'd be really real stuff.
Right.
So I want to hear what you got to say about that, but I want to interject, put that out there as far as the topic was concerned.
Okay, so yeah, it's situational. So it would kind of depend on like why we fell out for me.
Mm-hmm.
If trust wasn't like broken, like if I can't trust you, like then no, there's no way that we coming back.
Yeah.
But if it was something that was just like a misunderstanding, and we kind of just went our own ways, and then we kind of meet up later on.
Yeah,
and
but I'm talking about a foe.
That's not a foe. That's just
that's
somebody.
Not a foe.
Yeah,
that's like a hiccup.
Okay, so you just saying a straight enemy.
So
yeah, if you went there on me, then no, there's no way, there's no turning back.
And this is how we piggybacking off the last topic. We're bringing clarity, and we're trying to bring some understanding to all of the listeners and the people that watch us, pay attention to us. Because in the platonic friend scenario, y'all stated, especially Shay was stating about you only got so many strikes.
Right.
Like he was talking about shoot your shot and all of that. Like, okay, shoot your shot is one thing, but you can shoot your shot and do it in a mannerism or in a way where you become a foe to a woman, or vice versa, from woman to a man. Now you foe.
Right.
Is there ever a way to come back to being a friend again?
If you an enemy, you did something to break my trust. That's if you a foe. No, you did something to break my trust. And then there's no coming back to that, because I will never trust you again. So no, we can't ever be friends.
So your friend, that's betrayal.
Yeah.
So you don't have friends that you can't trust?
No. Well, no, not that I consider a friend.
That's actually my friend?
Yeah.
No, I trust all my friends.
I'm saying, but you don't have any friends that you can't trust?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Okay, I'm just putting it out there.
I only got a few friends, so.
Yeah, I get that part
too. Put them
too.
in my hand.
I get that part too. Yeah,
Right.
I'm trying to figure it out. Okay, so basically what y'all saying is, once and I hear the word trust getting tossed around. So once the trust is broken of a friendship, and that friend becomes a foe, there's no coming back from that.
No,
there's no way to mend it.
There's no way.
Mended friendships, mended relationships. No, can't work through it.
It's different for me.
Uh-oh.
I don't think so.
That's why, that's why I always like Shay's answer, because this is optimistic.
She be so peaceful over there.
Y'all sit up there and talk about me, but I'm telling you, it's an optimistic.
She be all zen. Her zen.
That's why I rock with her, man. That's why I rock with her. I even have faith in her today. Today they talking about, man, let's just get started. I was like, nope, we waiting right here.
I appreciate you.
We waiting right here for. I got I got faith in it.
It's different for me because I kind of feel like people can evolve, and I'm a person that I'm really big on accountability. So if a person is, I got a spirit of discernment. So if I feel like a person is coming to me, we don't need an audience. We don't need a whole room of people. You can come to me one-on-one and really be accountable for your actions and where we went wrong and where you went wrong. And I know it's genuine. I can tell when it's genuine because you don't have no pride, and we really can talk something through. We can probably grow from something again. That's the only time I really would consider forgiving a person, because they was accountable for their actions. We can't move forward and sweep stuff under the rug as if the elephant wasn't in the room. We got to talk about it though first.
See, for me, I forgive you, but I can't be cool with you like that. I can't. Especially if you did me wrong, I don't care how accountable you are. Go account on the other side. I'm not.
I'm not saying I'm placing you back over there with it. I'm not saying your apology is gonna get you right back where you was. I'm not even promising you that you can be back that again. I'm saying that apology we can be on maybe speaking terms. I would say that, like stuff like that. It's still levels to it. I can't really.
So you talking about cordial? Being cordial?
I can be cordial. I'm cordial with a lot of people that I don't really like.
For sure.
That's not liking them. See, that's the thing.
I mean, the people I still don't trust. family, friends. I just, hey, how you doing? And that's
But
all I got for you.
but they can never be a friend
No.
again.
I
I think you can have them as a friend again. I think you leaning towards you'll take a friend back that don't become a foe.
But when you say friends, see, y'all gotta understand. Just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean that they get
Get back
placed
in my
back
life.
to
Exactly.
where they
Saying-
were. That's not what that means.
So the
For sure. That means.
okay, so the become sharper moment just hit me. So let's do it this way. So let's say that we have a friend that becomes a foe.
Mhm.
So under Shay's logic, they can still come back, but they can be repurposed. They won't be to that same level that they was before. But she can find compassion, as you said, she got discernment. She can find a place for them in the future, saying, okay, you're not cut off, but maybe you might not be back to the same level. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I get that. I understand that. I appreciate that.
Well,
I know y'all.
we could be at terms where I won't kick your butt every time I see you. That I'm gonna be cordial.
I told
I
you.
might speak.
I
I might.
I told you. I knew that Nina secretly chose chaos. She chose hands every time. Every time she talking about them hands.
I'm just saying it depends
I
on what
would
you
like-
did.
I just keep my hands to myself.
I keep my hands to myself, but for real, it really depends on what you did. Like
It do.
I can't even fake it. I'm not gonna even lie to you. If you straight did me wrong, I'm not gonna even fake it. We can never be friends.
And to be honest, I've never had anybody become a foe.
No.
No.
Now let's say
Now I've had people that I'm cordial to ish, but we're not friends anymore.
But it never went to foe.
It never went to foe. Like I can say I don't like that person, and people will ask me, I'll be like, I don't F with them no more. But if I see them, I will speak.
yeah.
But I keep it moving.
But let's call a situation to the point where, like you say, it is like Nina said. It is levels to it. Now, if you can probably if you had it's certain things. If you had slept with my man, I can't be cool with
Yeah.
that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
What happened to the discernment?
How do you
That's
come
my
back
discernment.
from
You
that?
wanna
That's
sleep
what I'm
with him
saying.
again?
Oh man, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
The discernment says, don't put your hand in the snake pit again. They already bit you once. You
Yeah.
get bit
For
again, come on, that's on you.
sure. Yeah, so that's where I go with that. So as far as, and I guess for the fellas, I guess that we can put out there. Like I say, I know the relatable material and the relatable stuff in the men's life, because we have fallouts and disagreements that are so sharp, and most of them, I can't lie. No offense to none of y'all, because I love y'all to pieces. I kill a rock for you, but it be over y'all. Two guys over the fairer sex, a woman. We mess around and turn folk quick.
Mhm.
Yes, I've seen it.
Mhm.
Quick.
Oh yeah.
I'm talking about your best man's. It happens,
Right.
bullets flying. It really gets serious like that. And the deeper aspect of the topic was, could we come back from situations like that? So how I view it, I know it's gonna be a little different from y'all, but I feel that you can have a friend that can turn a foe, and we can bring them back to friend. We have to be able to do that, because
It wouldn't be determined on what they did though.
the violation may take more work to do the reparative, to do the restorative work to it. But as men, now this is funny, very, very funny. I was just telling her about how I'm a man at the end of the day.
Mhm.
We were just having that.
Literally.
We was literally having this conversation. As men, we have to assume the role of leadership. Now, as far as women are concerned, when the man isn't leading, y'all do step up and take the role of leadership. So for all the women out there that's leaders, we got this thing with female and women leadership, woman leadership, and saying, okay, well, no, if the man isn't leading, we just have no leadership at all. Y'all have no choice to step up and do the leadership.
Mhm.
So as a man, as I
They
step,
mistake that for masculine energy. That's not what that is.
don't start.
Don't do
that.
that.
Don't do that.
That's
Don't do
another
that. That's a
They
whole other.
always
It's
sneak
being
money
strong.
You
in.
always blend it. Don't
being
please,
strong
don't
considered
start.
masculine
Please don't start.
energy.
Please don't start. So, with that being said, as a leadership position, we have to show the way for other knuckleheads. Look, man, we fixed it. Now, whatever went down, y'all should be able to walk through it. So I will leave,
Grace.
with the panel saying that we can have friends that become a foe, and then they can become a friend again.
Associate.
A friend.
Associate.
But that's how
Somebody I know.
a woman gonna roll. That's how a woman
Somebody I
gonna roll. That's how the women go wrong. But as a, bring them back to friend. But of course, now will there be an asterisk? Will there be terms and conditions? Will there be training wheels again?
Right.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't be a fool now. But
We can't gonna be nobody. You take the words out of my mouth. We're not gonna be nobody fool.
I mean,
but at the same time, you can be a friend again. Are you allowed back in the room that's behind the room? No. You don't get to go to the VIP room, but you're still allowed to the venue.
One thing to say, not to cut you off. I have a situation like a scenario. Me and one of my cousins, we had stopped talking for years. We were like best cousins. We stopped talking for years because we had a big falling out over the years. And years that went by, we really had. It's my first cousin, and we lost some time, and we had children, wasn't in each other's lives for some time, and you would never thought that we would have been like that. I thought we would never gonna talk again, right? Mm-hmm. And we was both feeling that same way. But over time, as we both grew and evolved in our actual individual lives, we came back to each other somehow. I don't know how it was. I never thought it could happen, and it's so genuine to the point now. Me and her can't even. We said to each other, if we ever get to a point that we have a disagreement or feel away, please talk to me about it, because I can't imagine my life without you again. And that's how we really feel. Like, I can't believe we missed that many years with each other. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so people see that would change.
But they weren't really a photo.
Right, those was just words.
No, we was like, we gonna fight on site. We was like that. And
that's a
and
foul.
it changed around.
We fight.
So I can't say I love my
fight on site. That's a foul.
So we
fight
got to that. It got
fight
to
on site is foul.
No, for real, it got to that.
See, I can see situations like that being repaired, because those are, you know what I mean? It's words. You get mad. You say, we gonna fight. We gonna do this. If you didn't do anything to like really hurt me like that,
the words hurt though. No, words hurt.
Words do hurt.
Some of the stuff we said some angry stuff to each other that we.
But y'all said out of anger. But did she do something to you that came from a place of malice? Did she intentionally do something?
Okay, so me and you had a little spat about that, about the action thing. Them words are
words cut though.
Them words are ended.
You don't forget what people say to you.
There's some things that you can say to me. It's some people right now in my life, and I just want to put, not to air them out, but no pun intended, we on the air. Not to air you out, but it's some things that people done said to me, you won't be back.
Yeah, it's some stuff you can't go back to with words, but a lot of times
won't be back.
I feel like words can
No, it's a lot of words that you can say to me, and you won't be back.
Especially with time. You know what I mean?
So are y'all saying they only a foe if it get physical? Does it have to be physical?
No, it doesn't have to be physical. It has to be, you hurt my feelings. You really did something to hurt
my
heart.
And you intentionally did something to
me. And you damage what we got.
Yeah.
You damage what we have here.
Yeah.
You damage that.
Right, for sure.
So that's why you're now a foe. Because now you can't come to Thanksgiving after X, whatever you did, whatever you said. Now you can't come back on
the of faith.
Yeah, you can't. You can't come back up. You can't come.
I don't know how she got that.
You can't come back up in here after you just said that. What you just said. So at the end of the day, but me and Delaney was talking about actions and words. I think that the breach of contract that we had that in that moment was with a woman, it's more so actions, but with men, we got to stand on our word is all we got in a lot of cases.
That is true.
Because we providers. So we done provided for children, we done provided for a household, we done provided for our significant other, and we done had to lend and provide for a lot of those friends. And at the end of the day, we'll never come to y'all based on the pride standpoint. We'll never come to y'all and say, I'm all loaned out. So all I got left is the word. And now you come with some damaging words. That wasn't action. That was something that you said. My father, I'll tell you this before we go. My father had a best friend. They were friends probably. So, my father was older, may he rest. My father, they probably was friends, I'd just say 45 years because they were in the war together. And when I was a child, I remember him taking me over there he had this elaborate, illustrious volcanoes that erupted and all these things going on in the basement. He built like a world in the basement with skyscrapers, everything. So I'm like, wow, he took me down to see it. This has been my best friend, we've been best friends for years. But this when I'm a kid. Now that we've grown, I've discovered that they still were friends. And one time they had an argument. And the best friend said to my father, you wasn't never my friend.
Mm.
Told him that. You wasn't never my friend.
I know that hurt.
My father died shortly after that.
How do
He
you
died of a broken heart.
How do you come back from? You can't come back.
It wasn't no comeback from that.
No.
And my father had got remarried, and the new wife was giving me the play-by-play, saying he in the bed, he can't come back. He ain't coming back from them words.
Yeah, you definitely have to be careful with your words.
So
That's definitely for sure, because you can't take it back. You
Took
can't
him
take
out.
it back once it come out.
Took him out.
Yeah.
So you got to be careful about the things that you say.
And words have power, so you got.
And words have power. Words have power. And you also got to be careful about, the actions as well. We don't forego the actions now. You got action. We got to put some action behind it. But those words are underestimated. I am a child.
You either gonna curse or bless with your words.
I was standing at my father, and I know that was what drove him out of here. Was those words. You wasn't. He said you wasn't. After 50 years of friendship, he said you wasn't never my friend.
That's loaded. It make you think what you been holding on.
Wait, no, but
like,
see,
what
those
happened?
words you have to understand. He didn't say I was never your friend.
Yeah.
He said you was never.
You
my
wasn't
friend.
never
Crazy.
my
You
friend.
know
what I mean?
sideways
So-
all those years though.
Yeah, like
And
Like
they-
if you said it the other way around, I might have took it a different
Said it
way.
right.
no,
but-
but when you because I'm you, but he told him, I don't care what we've been through. I don't care what
You
we
were
did.
never my friend.
I was always guarded. Carl, my name, real name, Carl. Carl, you were never my friend.
That
and
made
then-
you feel like he was never there for him.
And-
right.
And my old man called me and talked to me about it. He said, groceries in the you know what you done done. And when you ain't had nothing to eat,
years, yeah.
50 years.
Well, I would say
He was stuff to hurt you too. They don't
When
need it.
when that tank came and shot this is what I told you.
He knew
But
that would
I
hurt.
You
had-
got down in that trench.
I've had friends that I've been like I thought was like really my best friends, but like close to me. But I felt like I was more of a friend to them than they were to me.
Right.
So you can feel that way, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
People entitled to feel how they feel. Though,
Yeah.
So
But lopsided friends, like
Yeah.
it ain't always 50-50 when you're dealing with friends and real friendship.
Yeah.
But that's what I want to know today. I think that we jumped in there and become real sharp on this one. I like the way y'all did that. Shout out to the supporters, the people who come along to help us with this show. I mean, one thing before I even talk about the supporters, I just want to point out, Nina, I see your enthusiasm. I talk about how I call you sometimes. I just want to tell you about the enthusiasm. Last podcast, you said what you said.
I don't even know.
This is if you're ugly. She said something.
yeah. Even
Even if you're ugly. I said I haven't seen Nina having this much fun. And since I done met her, I said she was alive. So I'm glad
she got
that
a glow, don't
she got a
glowing up there.
man. So we
Oh, yeah.
glad that we got some
Look
support.
Look at my
We
boss
glad
friend,
that we-
best friend.
boss friends, best
Am I
friends.
glowing?
You're
glowing
glowing,
friend. You look
plutonic
beautiful,
friends.
girl.
Yes, I'm
Well,
glad
thank
that
you,
we
Austin.
got the support to keep this thing going. All cash is verified. Anything coming in or anything going out is verified. We always, like you say, we enthuse to show the product line. We got the lighters, got them up. We sit them right there. Got the products for you. We got the.
I was just
Oh,
about to say
that's
that.
already you. It's already
I'll
you.
take that
Thank you,
white though.
baby.
It's already
Yeah.
you. Take them. Yeah, that's the lighters. We do them. Got the retail form, and then we got the cups by the sleeve. We got the CJ cups. So we got support coming in for the podcast. We got the product line. We also have the TNS raffle exchange. Raffle exchange is a new genre that we're adding to the raffle and exchange industry. We're putting it out there to bring in revenues 50-50. So half go to us, half go to the great cause that we support. So the Let Us Become Sharper podcast is here to stay.
Okay, now.
We're here to stay. We're doing better and better. And yeah, we just had to touch on the topic today. If you have a friend that becomes a foe, can they come back from foe and be a friend again? Weigh in on that one. We definitely chimed in on it, did a great job at that. I'm glad that we had this moment to come in and speak on the podcast. I want to just say one more thing before we leaving out of here. Be safe out there, like I always say. I always put that out there because we don't want to have a scenario where someone says, you didn't tell us to be safe. No, you were told. You were told to keep your head on the swivel. You were told to stay sharp And not only stay safe, but stay dangerous. You were told all of these things. Now you've been told about friend and or foe. We'll call this one friend or foe. And we'll let y'all comment in, chime in, support in, and do whatever you do. I'm sitting here having a great time with my boss friends.
That's right.
Yes.
I'm having a great time with my boss
As
friends.
always.
We're going to go do our little posing and photo shooting how we always do. And you'll see a little clip at the end. And we'll be back. So any ideas for the next go? How we going to knock them dead next time?
Well, I'm gonna say make sure y'all always extend that grace and mercy to everybody else. Okay, just do that. But I think we need to talk about what we just say at first, the last about
being
a strong woman.
Oh yeah.
Why is it considered
masculine
energy?
When
Yeah,
you woman era versus masculine women.
Show you remember that.
You know that's what she want to talk about. That's why she said it.
I'm saying that's a great topic
remember
because I'm really
But I'm excited about that topic.
I'm in my
too.
soft woman era right now, and I think that people can say, "Oh, because I'm an alpha female," but I'm such a lady.
And I'm a little hard.
I like for my man to lead. You understand?
You like a man to lead?
I do. I love leadership. If he can lead, oh my God.
Do you like
if he can lead?
If he can lead, he got to be led by God before he lead me though.
Absolutely. So we're talking about leadership from the standpoint before we run out of here. We're talking about leadership from a standpoint of do you like to be for him to be the pilot and you be in the back flying as a passenger?
He the head and I'm the neck.
Or do you want to be the pilot and co-pilot thing?
We a team.
So you want to be a team?
Yeah, be a team. Cause all that lead and submissive and come on, man. Well, I don't even know if I want to talk about it.
Oh, you know what? I got a topic. This right one. I'm gonna throw this out. No, we ain't gonna do it.
You know,
We ain't gonna do it.
He said, you know what? On second thought, shit.
Offset, we'll talk about it.
We just said all these wonderful, beautiful things about Nina. She's glowing. Listen to her glow. We're
about to turn her.
She's about to turn this into something else. We'll handle all of this in the chat group. Yeah. We'll pick another.
Behind the scenes.
We'll do this behind the
Pretty
scenes.
much.
Get everything organized.
Make sure it's safe.
Make sure it's safe. Yeah, make sure it's a safe space. And we'll be back to you ASAP. To the next time, let us become sharper.